Looking at the training to compete stage of the long-term player development model, with this catering for players from 14 to 18 years of age. During this stage of development, they're looking at refining their tactical abilities while also mastering their technical skills, and also beginning to refine their decision-making capabilities. Within the physical corner, the energy systems are becoming fully functional, both aerobic and anaerobic. And the principle of overload within their training can be introduced. In the psychological and social corner, players are given strategies to deal with the stress of a competitive environment, and also looking to heavily transfer training into competition. And the final stage we're going to look at in the long-term player development model is the training to win stage. The stage that caters for players who are 18 plus. In this stage of their development, they're looking at game-specific preparation in terms of tactics and knowing an analysis of the opposition. They now need to show an ability to fulfill various roles within different positions and perhaps function under different strategies. In the physical corner, overtraining will be closely monitored and balanced with rest and recovery. Also key in this stage is a player's baseline fitness, but also their freshness, how ready they are for the game. Their position-specific physical demands will be closely matched to their individual program. And psychological skills training will be introduced and further developed. As well as the long-term player development model, we can also look into the windows of opportunity model. And as you can see from the graphic on screen, there are optimum times in a player's development where specific physical components can be developed. Looking at speed specifically, with the two windows you can see on screen, between 8 and 11 years of age, and a further stage between 13 to 15 years of age. The ABCs, the agility, balance and coordination, falling within the fundamental stage, those 6 to 11-year-olds, which coincides with their technical development from 5 to 9-10 years of age. This also supports the priorities when working with young players of developing the ABCs and technique, with the aerobic strength and power windows of opportunity coming far later in their development, towards their middle to late teenage years. It's important to bear in mind from the long-term player development and the windows of opportunity models that players are categorised by their chronological age. As coaches, we need to be aware of their physical maturity and an awareness of their biological age. As I'm sure you would have worked with players in the past, especially around the 13-14 years of age, where players are showing huge differences in their physical maturity, but chronologically they're of the same age. An approach that's been adopted with reference to evaluating players from their physical maturity point of view has been employed by Southampton FC Academy and their biobanding approach. The article which you'll see on Blackboard was published in August 2015, and Southampton's Academy held the world's first biobanding tournaments, which saw players competing in teams based on their maturation status and biological age, rather than the traditional approach grouping players by their chronological age. Biobanding allows coaches to work out a child's biological age and is based around the prediction of their adult height. By matching players through this process, individuals can be assessed against and play against those of a similar biological age. In this case, players within 85 to 90% of their predicted adult height competed against each other, with young players aged 11 to 14 matched by their maturation status. Southampton are now looking to use this process right across their youth development phase of their academy and employ it throughout the season and in training. This allows each player to develop if they're an early or late maturer within the group. We've had a look at the long-term player development model and the windows of opportunity and how players are grouped by chronological age. We've also had a look at the bio-banding approach, where players are grouped by their physical maturity status. What I'd like to present to you is a future model that may be adopted, which would be the 5-corner approach. Profiling and evaluating individual players across all of the 5 corners. Then from this evaluation, there are options in how you group players. You could group players by their similarities, as Southampton did with the bio-banding approach. So you could group players high on confidence together, or group players who were technically good at long passing together and help them develop. But also there's the opportunity to group players by their differences. Group strong communicators with those that need to improve their communication. Group players who have a high tactical understanding with those where tactical understanding is their key area of development. This 5-corner evaluation approach and the grouping or categorising of players by the 5-corner evaluation may provide the future framework for player development. Let's look at the physical considerations based on the growth and maturation of a player. From the graph you can see on screen from Tanner, Marlin and Bouchard in 2004, you can see the representation of peak height velocity, with females in blue and males in purple, with age running along the bottom of the graph and centimetres per year running along the side of the graph. So this graphic is showing us a player's peak height velocity, so the amount of centimetres they grow per year, so the rate in which they grow. This is an important consideration for us as coaches, as we need to be aware of the key physiological changes in players and make adjustments for those players in our sessions and games accordingly. You can see the peak in the graph occurring for females between 10 and 12 years of age, and the highest rate of growth occurring in boys from 13 to 15, 16 years of age.